Hi everyone, I am going to do one of these flower squares today. This is from Johanna Basford's Worlds of Wonder. I've done a few as videos over the quite a long time, and I thought it was about time I just got on and finished the page, and partly because I don't like having a page unfinished for so long, and also perhaps you might feel the same way. So I haven't done them consistently with the same pencils all the way through, and these was Prismas, these weren't, I can't remember what I used, and some I've used colour cube cards and some I haven't. Picked my next colour cube card from my box to do one, and I didn't really like the colours for this specific picture. It'll be nice for a mandala, something like that, but it wasn't bright and pretty enough for flowers, so I decided to not use one. I'd just do it myself using my own colours, and I've decided to use my Arrtx pencils. Having asked you all what pencils you wanted me to use, I got all sorts of answers. Let's try and flatten out a little bit, and let's hang on, I'll put something on the edge of the page, that's it. And Arrtx came up, and I do have a set. I don't have the full set, I have the slightly smaller set. There's two set sizes, so that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to start with the cloud blue, which is quite a grey blue in the Prismas. I don't know if it's the same in here, and I'm going to do the background, and I'm just going to fill it in with a layer. Now I feel that this cloud blue is a little bit bluer and less grey than the Prisma, but I'm not a big expert on either of these, so I might be slightly wrong, but I think it makes a nice background for florals. Any colour really works because you can do your colours however you wish. Sometimes I wait until I've done the flowers before I decide on the background, sometimes the other way round. It can be a bit easier sometimes planning your background colour first, and that is because when you've finished, you might have used up all the colours, especially if you're using a small set, or, you know, done something so that it's difficult to pick a background. Obviously you don't have to do the same background across the whole page, and if you had lots of blue here and lots of pink here, you could put blue behind the pink and pink behind the blue and just sort of graduated background, something like that. It's quite ambitious, isn't it? And when you've got a background like this, which is quite small, it's also very fiddly because we're going around everything. It's quite nice to just keep it quite simple, you know. I find going around lots of little details quite difficult, especially with a pencil like this, which is a little bit fat on its end. I mean, I know I can sharpen it, but I mean, compared to something like a Tombow or a Staedtler or even a polychromo, you know, it doesn't keep its point that well. So colouring around little details can get a little bit fiddly and frustrating. And we don't want our colouring to become frustrating because the whole point of it is to be relaxing. So we need to just do things that make our life or our colouring a little bit easier, in my opinion anyway. Yes, you could get a better finish if you spent longer and things like that, and that's up to you completely. But for me, I don't want to get, sorry, I've got an itch. I don't want to get irritated or bored, you know. So it's just a matter of trying to find a way that suits you, really. And for me, if I had a different colour background here, it'd be too much work, and I wouldn't be looking forward to it like I am and excited by it. Which, yeah, as I say, I am. I'm just fiddling with my tablet for a minute because my son was sending me some messages, but I think he's done now. Yeah, he's on his way home actually. I thought I had the whole day to myself. Seems like he got muddled with his timetable. Actually, he didn't get muddled, his timetable was wrong, so he hasn't got a class this afternoon, so he's on his way home, which means my lovely whole day to myself, which I thought I had, I don't now. But hey, it's I've had a really lovely morning on my own. just doing things at my own pace, not having to worry about what anybody else is doing, although they keep messaging me, but you know. I'm just going to sharpen my pencil. I'm going to try my Staedtler sharpener. I often use my dowel for the Arrtx because they can be a bit breaky in a conventional sharpener, and dowels seem a little bit more protective of the core compared to the Staedtler, but this is sharpened okay in the Staedtler. I just brought it through in case they broke, but that's fine. Keep going round, really. Yeah. Oops, I'm just sorry. I knocked the tripod then with my elbow when I was stretching across. I don't know if you've gone all squiff. I don't think so. Yeah, I've been out. It's really sunny today. And in fact, it stopped me staying out too long because although it's winter and there's no heat in the sunshine, it's so bright. It's in my eyes. It's giving me a headache. As soon as I'm inside, I'm absolutely fine, but my head was sore. So I wanted to come home. Also, I wasn't in the mood for shopping. I had a few things I had to buy, so I got those. That was fine. But I want to get some boots and a winter coat. I know it's midway through winter now, but my coat's, I didn't realise it's got so bad, but my coat's basically falling apart. So I had a look in, we've got a big department store, which is an independent department store. Well, they've got about 4 branches across the country, I think. And I went in there, it's really expensive. Has all designer stuff, some local designers, some not. But I just thought, oh, I'm going to have a look because we have very few clothes shops in our town anyway. So I had a look and there were some boots. They had no coats I liked. I like duffel coats and just not in fashion. So I just, no. It had a lot of fur coats. I don't know if they were real or fake, but either way, not for me. I don't like fake because it feels nasty and it just falls out sometimes. And I don't like real for obvious reasons. So, so I'm just messaging my son. He just sent me a message. Train acquired, he said. He has a good way with words. But I think that background is done, so I was just having a look at that while I wipe my nose, and then I'm going to think about colours. Now, the person who asked, one of the people, so I'm just seeing a bit I need to do better. One of the people who asked me about Arrtx said it was the greens that they struggled with, and I'm totally with you on that. Greens are tricky with Arrtx. We have a very small selection, and they are quite odd. So we will do some green at some point, but I'm going to actually start with my petals and then we'll do the greens later. So I will be doing them. So I'm actually going to work through and do quite a mix of different colours. We haven't done that on any of our others. We've stuck to quite similar colours. This one, I don't want to do that. I want to make it really bright and jolly and mixed up. So I'm going to start with the orange, and I'm going to do a few orange flowers. The ones that look the same, I will do the same. So I have, are those 3 smaller versions of those 2? And maybe I've got these 2 in the middle. Those 3 look like those 2. Those 2 is this one looks different to all the rest. I'm going to do this one in orange. I'm not a big fan of orange. Sometimes. I mean, I've done a whole square in orange up there, but I'm just going to do this one flower in orange. For now, it might look odd if I only do one, but I feel that this flower is just on its own. I don't feel that it goes with any of the others. So there is our orange flower. I have tried to put a bit more orange on the bottom of these petals compared to the tip, but I'm not sure how well that's standing out. Now we need to do the centre as well. I want to go for a lighter yellow because so it shows up. This is the canary yellow. Oh, there you go. It's quite a bright yellow. And I should just do it in the centre there. There we go. I'm not going to do anything more fiddly with that. Now I think these 4, that one looks a bit different, but I think these 4 are all the same flower. Should we do a pink? I'm just looking at what I've got. I have got a rose red which looks very pink, and a carmine, what's that called? Carmine red, which also looks quite pink. I think I'm going to do the rose red. Oops, I can't get it out. I haven't actually got a swatch sheet, so I'm not sure what I'm doing really. So this is called rose red, and it looks really pink to me, so that's what I'm going to hope. So let's start here, and I'm going to put it more intensely at the base and less towards the end of the petal, like that. Yeah, it's quite pinky. It is dark, but it's definitely pink and not red, so that's good. That's what I was hoping for. But yeah, I really should swatch these out. I think I've got a chart somewhere where I compare them to... I've got a chart in my Ko-fi shop where I compare these to Prismacolor, and I think Colour with Claire has one as well, and I think she did the full, is it 120 of these? I've got the smaller set, is it 72? I can't remember, to be honest, how many are in the sets. But anyway, I did one with this set, Prismas, and I found that there were mainly fairly close matches, but the violet and the blue violet in this set are sort of the wrong way round, in the sense that the blue violet is definitely violet, and the do these as well, and the violet is definitely bluey and the blue violet isn't. So they've sort of got the names around the wrong way. But I think in the larger set, which came out after this set, I think they did some more names that weren't the same as Prisma names. Maybe the colours are different, but as I said, I can't be sure. They don't have those. But as I say, it's fine. We can just use these. There's plenty of colours in this set. I've always found 72 to be usually a good enough selection, as long as the makers have done a good job of picking, you know. So again, I'm trying to make it a little bit darker, nearer the centre. My other son messaged me earlier and said, the Easter holidays are 3 weeks. I said, I know. I think he was expecting it to be 2, although they ended up he had 4 weeks off at Christmas. But the first week he had off was the week before the Christmas holidays. And he had COVID, so most of his classes were cancelled apart from the Monday. He thought they were going to be cancelled and they weren't, but then he caught COVID, so he couldn't go in. He was actually being really sick, poor lad, so he wasn't eating. He was in bed actually because he was feeling so rotten. So no, he couldn't go in. Of course he couldn't go in, and so he missed that day. And so he didn't go in for that week, and then he had a couple of weeks off, and then the final week, the last week was supposed to be an assessment week, and his brother went in and had an exam, as did other people who had exams, but he didn't have any exams, so he didn't go in. But he had a lot of work to do, just wasn't exam work, so he was at home. Okay, there are our pink. I quite like that. I'm going to do the centres, the little circular bits. I'll point to what I mean when I've got my pencil out. All these bits I'm going to do in black. So this is just the black, and I'm just going to do them all in black. And then we'll do the centre a little bit differently, but I just feel that the black gives quite a nice contrast against the pink. Black and pink go well, I always think. I'm trying to go around the edge of each circle with the aim of trying to make it a little bit lighter in the middle, but it's quite tricky with something this small. Now I have noticed that I've got some little gaps here which need filling up with my background colour as well, which I will do in a moment if I remember. These ones there are gaps here too, but I've accidentally filled them in pink. But I'll have a look in a minute and just go over those that I can. Now I'm not trying to make this look like any specific flower. This is just from my imagination, as I'm sure it was for Johanna when she drew it as well. So I'm just nearly done. There we go. Now I'm going to grab the blue, as I said, and just do some of these tiny gaps there, and there, and there, and then in here. If you've coloured them in pink, I don't think it hurts, because it could just look like there's a bit of petal below it, and it's so small no one's going to notice. Okay, for the centre of this flower I'm going to do a tiny bit of brown. This is the burnt ochre, just around the edge, just the smallest amount that I can. I'm going to scumble it round, keep it fairly light, like that. Then I'm going to go around these even less if I can. Quite difficult to get a teeny bit. There we go. So there is that. Oh, I haven't gone right to the edge on that one. Then I'm going to turn to my yellows and grab, what's that? Is that the goldenrod? That's what I want. Yeah, the goldenrod. Sorry, did I show you? Probably not. It's really hard to see anyway, isn't it? That's better. And go around on top of what I've done. Just bring it in a little bit more. Quite hard for you to see. It's getting a little bit dirty where the black is smudging in. But it doesn't matter because I want that edge to be darker anyway. So it'll be fine. And then I'm going to go for the yellow ochre and use that on the rest. On all of it, again, darker on the edge, bring it into the centre and try and make the centre a little bit lighter. A bit easier to do on the larger one. There we go. Yeah. Now we have our little ones. I'm going to do those in a purple. I'm going to choose, what am I going to choose? This one. Oh, trying to get it out. This is the Parma Violets. It's not really a bright purple. It's quite a delicate one. And again, I'm going to try and make it a little more intense near the centre. And oops, click. I just hit the end of my pencil on my sharpener. And then a little less as we come out towards the tip of the petals. That's it. And then the same on all of them. If you can't get it looking that much more intense, don't worry too much. It's quite difficult with a more pastel toned pencil, but I'm getting there. Yeah, talking in pastel tones, I've had a request to do a page in pastel tones. Be interesting, or a video. It might be something small like one of these, maybe. Even, I'm not sure yet. I'll find something. But I got the impression that people are a little bit Marmite about prismas. Some people wanted them and some people really didn't want them. Whereas I didn't get anyone asking me not to do any other type of pencils, only prismas. And I understand that because I know lots of people do videos with prismas already. So it's almost like there's a saturation there. If you want a Prisma video, you're probably going to be able to find one doing what you want, whereas other brands, not so much so. But yeah, I'm going to try and mix it up a little bit more, as much as I can, depending on the picture, the book, the colours I want to use. etc, etc. Now for the centre of these, I've decided I'm going to go darker. So remember I told you that the violet and the blue violet seem to be mixed up. So I'm going to grab the violet blue to do the centres, and I'm hoping we get a nice violet colour, which we do. I want that to be quite intense in there. Oh, itchy nose. There. Okay, there are those. Now we have, I'd quite like to do these in blue. I like doing this sort of shape flowering blue. I want quite a dark blue. What's that one? Copenhagen blue. I'm going to use that. And again, I'm going to try to start darker near the centre of my flower and lighter as I go towards the tip. Just checking the time. My son is going to walk in the door and disturb me at about 20 minutes time, depending on how late his train is. I think it was a few minutes late, so I need to be prepared for that. Might be done by then, I don't know yet. I'm not going to rush. Probably going a bit fast for you anyway. I know some people colour ultra slow, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do and you enjoy, or if that's what you can bear. I know some people have a bit of pain, a bit of soreness, and they have to be a bit careful. That's fair as well. I know that some people who have a few problems with their holding pencils can use pencil. There's a sort of rubber things you can put on pencils which can help to cushion a little bit, but I've not tried them myself. I know some people find they work and some don't. You can also wear fingerless gloves or wrist warmers, which help to keep your fingers warmer, and I find that might help a little bit. And I'm not sure what else really. I'm not an expert, but it's all. I'm sure if you look it up or go into a colouring group on Facebook or ask on Instagram or any social media, you might find out what people do. But one tip I would say is don't press too hard. It's always tempting to press harder because you get a more intense colour more quickly, and you can finish your picture more quickly and you get a nice bright colour, but that can really hurt, and I have hurt my own hands doing that, and I don't tend to I don't struggle with any health issues with regards to my hands, but I can get such bad writer's cramp type feelings and blisters and aches and pains and things like that. So I do have a little bit of experience, but not as much as some people will. So but it's a very the colouring community is very kind. They are always happy to share advice and help, so it's always good to reach out if you need to and ask for advice. As I say, there are a lot of groups. Some Facebook groups are better than others. It depends how big they are for some, and how active people are, because sometimes you can ask a question, get no response because nobody's looking, so it can depend. But that's why I say maybe just get on your search engine and look it up. You might find something there. Also, if you have physiotherapy or you see your GP regularly, ask them. You don't have to say, I do adult colouring if you don't want to use it. I do art, I need to hold my pencils, what do I do? I'm just finding a flower centre colour. I want something really bright, but I don't want to use the same colours that I've used already. So although I say I want something bright, I'm going to use this light yellow. I think it's going to stand out from... Oh, my phone's ringing, hold on. Oh, I am back now with my light yellow to see if I can get enough colour out of here. That was actually the water company ringing because I'd reported a leak in my neighbour's drive, And I didn't want to have anything to do with it really. I was just thinking I was being a good neighbour by helping out and reporting it, and now I'm like keep getting all the calls and having to fix it, and I'm like, ooh. Okay, I'm trying to think where to go now with colour. We have got these centred 2 bells, and then we've got these 2. There's some really pretty, this colour, hang on, I don't know what it's called until I get it out. Oops, it's called Jade Blue. I think it's a really pretty colour. I'm going to do these 2 with it. I'm hoping it's going to stand out enough in the background. Oh yes, look at that. Oh, that's lovely. I'm just going to fade that towards the tip a little bit, but I'm trying to purposely make it quite intense so that you can see it, because obviously the background is not that similar a colour, but if I did it lightly, look, it won't really stand out. So, and it's so pretty when it's intense. There we go. Okay, and now these 2, I could do the sort of lavender lilac-y cut colours, but we're really close to that purple. I'm thinking a light pink. That's right. I think that'll do. This is the pink. I think it's going to look a bit different to this. Now at the moment I feel like the colours aren't balanced. There's a sort of imbalance, there's something missing, and I think it's green. And once I put some green in, I think it's going to work. So we'll see. So with this one I am trying to put a bit of a darker colour near the centre and a bit less towards the end of the petals. So we'll see how that, I can't really see a big difference there with more here and less there. I think it's because it's quite a pastel-y tone. I think that can happen quite a bit when it's a pastel-y tone of pencil. Like that. Now, our centres. I am wondering whether to go darker. Oh, excuse me, I don't know what happened to my voice then. Magenta. I'm going to use the magenta. I know some of you don't like doing darker flower centres. You like going yellow or light. But, oh, there's a train. That'll be my son's train. There we go. So now it's time for some green. So let's turn to our green section. Now we have basically 2, 4, 6, 8, about 9 greens. This is, what am I grabbing? This is a grass green. I'm going to use this first. I'm going to need sharpening. Where's my sharpener gone? Yeah, I'm going to use it on these little ones, and I'm not going to mix up the colour much. It's quite a bluey green, and it's actually rather pretty, and I think bluey greens go rather well with purple. So that is that. And this one, here, I think I might do this as well. They just look like they match because they're right next to each other, and the colour will go nicely. So that is this bit. Now, what's our next colour? We've got a true green. Now, the true green is very pale and sort of pastel-y. I'm only going to use it here, like that. Now, what have we got next? Spring green. Again, quite pale. I don't think I'm going to use that one. I might just use it a little bit on here, actually, there, because it will stand out, I think, against the orange. That's quite nice. There we go. And now we have our apple green, which is my favourite Prisma green. I'm not sure how it looks on here. I'm going to use it, I'm thinking on this pink. It's really similar to that one, isn't it? It's a nice colour, but it's quite pale. So if you want it a little bit darker, you're going to have to mix it with one of the others. Just looking at what we've got. What I would mix it with, I'd probably mix it with whatever that is. Is that moss? No, olive. There's an olive green. That's probably what I would mix it with. In fact, I probably will. I'm expecting my doorbell to ring any minute. So we'll see what happens. So I am going to mix it with the olive, just to show you a little mix. Ooh. So here's our olive green, just giving it a bit of a sharpen, because this is a bit pale, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is just go in here and just then fade it up a bit. So we've got a bit of a darker base to our leaf. I'm clock watching as well because my son will be in soon. As soon as I hear the door, I'm going to have to stop the video because he'll talk to me, which is lovely. But it's not going to be work for the video. There we go. Yeah. Oh, we've got that one as well. So I'm going to go back to our apple green and colour in those. It might be better to have done the other green first, but I want to do it the same way so they look the same. But sometimes it's better to do a dark first. In fact, that's usually how I colour, dark to light. I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way, really. So here is the olive green. And again, just a little bit. There we go. That's quite nice, isn't it? I think. Now, we have a couple. I'm going to go to the lime green next. Lime peel. Now I would usually use this with an orange, but I'm going to use it on here. I don't think it's going to match brilliantly well, but I'm not going to make this as my only colour. Like this. And then I'm going to get, whoops, the dark green and just darken a little bit. Now these colours I wouldn't naturally put together, but I have a feeling it'll work, but it's really quite dark. So I'm going to use it quite lightly to start with. There we go. And then just sort of blend it in. Sorry, I wasn't talking, I was concentrating. And I wasn't breathing. Don't hold your breath. There we go. I'm happy with that. And then we've got this last little bunch. Now we've got our chartreuse. We've got a lemon yellow and a chartreuse left. And I'm not going to use those. I'm going to reuse some of the colours that I've used already. I'm going to use the spring green together with the grass green, I think. So I'm going to start with the grass green on these at the tip. And you notice I'm not going all the way to the tip. I'm hoping that when I put the other colour on, it's just going to work. Like that. And then grabbing my spoon green and just finishing off and going right over what I've done, and then trying to put a bit less as I go towards the tip. Like that. There we go. So there's a few colour combinations for you with the greens. There. And I'm going to grab a white, just do a few dots before I finish. So I'm expecting my doorbell to ring any minute. But we'll see. I'm going to put dots around the centre on these. And then on these, again, around the centre, but just in a slightly different place. Some of those look a bit green in the middle because I'm going to put all over that because that's a bit dark. And these I'm going to put on the orange. And on these I'm going to put them on the black dots, circles. Way round. I am rushing a bit now because I think my bell's about to go. There we go. I don't think I want to put any on those, so I'm not going to. I'm going to just put those a bit darker. There we are. I keep slipping to the side, don't I? There we are. This is a really bright and colourful one this time, which I think is rather nice, personally. But there we go. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that was okay for you. Yes, I hope you have a super day and happy colouring.